Hello, gentlefolk of the internet. My name's Rebecca. I am a housewife. It took me a little while to get into that and just embrace it as just that's actually what I'm doing. But that's actually what I'm doing. So that's we're doing a whole nother channel. And it's cool. So this is what's up. We have my spouse. She is spousebot 1. I am spousebot 2. The spouse situation, when we went to the courthouse to get married, they had not quite changed the things. So it said husband, spouse 1, wife, spouse 2. And Charity saw that and she was like, I'm the husband. And I was like, okay, you're the husband. I didn't care. So I'm the wife. And we use spouse anyway because we both have gender. Gender's weird. So spouse. She's my spouse bot 1. Joy and Mark are my co-parents. We have twin sprogs together. We all live in San Francisco. We have got 2 apartments in a building, an old Victorian. It is a beautiful building. It's got the built-ins, all that stuff. Oh, I love old Victorians. And my commute in the morning is 2 seconds. And I get to see the kids. And whenever they need me, I can be there. I can be back up as necessary. That proximity is so amazing. And I'm so lucky. And I'm so excited to tell you what I'm doing here. 10 years ago, I would never have guessed that this is where I was going to end up. 10 years ago, I had just landed my first stable job that I thought was just going to be my last job ever. And I worked up until that. I've had over 40 jobs in 10 years. I've been working and working and working, and I've been the first time I tried to sign up for unemployment, when I realized you have to be not paid for 30 days to get that benefit, never again. I never been unemployed for more than a week. I keep working, I keep going, I keep looking, and I've managed to land on my feet that quickly. Thank goodness. It's been a lot of luck and a lot of ridiculous things to do, and I finally got to a place where I cobbled together a career I've been doing theater tech work since I was in middle school, and it took me till in my 20s to realize that this was a path that I could build a career on top of. So I did that, and I spent a lot of years doing that, only got to where I had stabilized my career into something very recently. And when I got the job, tech union job, I was like, I'm 30 years away from retirement. That's it. I don't ever want to have to look for a job again. And then I got together with Charity. And before I moved in with her, I knew she made significantly more money than I did. And I knew that my lifestyle would change with that. And I knew that the potential for her to make more money was infinitely greater than me. The money that I was making, I was going to be making that money for that 30 years that I was talking about. That was it. She made 70% of what I was making from the beginning. But the savings that we had was the same. And at the beginning of my relationship with her, before I moved in, before I left the security of my apartment that I had, I negotiated with her. The words that I used were even in, even out. And that we have the same amount of financial holdings going into our relationship. Whatever we do while we're together, we're building that together. And she absolutely agreed and totally supported me. Didn't even question it. It was so terrifying. Yeah. I would say the most useful thing that I have in building my family is the ability to say the scariest thing I know I need to say is whatever. And in this case, it was the scariest thing I know I need to say is, in order for me to move in with you, I need to have some financial security because we're going to be in different places the whole time. And I'm so grateful that she was just like, yeah, of course. Absolutely. And she's even helped her friends who don't understand that, if you have a girlfriend at home, they deserve that security. And like legally it's called communal property, but that's not even a thing that existed until like the 70s or 80s, maybe not even my whole life. I guess it is something that's existed for my life, but that I could ask for that and was given that offered me so much safety going into my relationship. And we have a very classic, like, I fly, she buys. So I sort of run around doing everything. And I even had my job for a really long time. But over time, I met her friends and we started co-parenting together. And they all have tech income. And like the cost of, we had twins, the cost of putting twins in daycare was effectively my salary. So in addition to the fact that I wanted to stay home with the kids, which I understand not everyone wants to, I really enjoy it. I have a situation where we can make it work. And my co-parents aren't able to do anything like contractually to offer me the same kind of safety that my spouse is. But they've never made me feel unsafe. They've never made me feel taken for granted, or when they do, I can talk about it. And again, it's that the scariest thing I know I need to say. Those conversations are really the bedrock of our family and our tiny little village. And that's my life's work, is how to have those conversations. And this little tiny community, this little tiny village, is a thing that I wanted since I was a kid. To have a lot of parents around for the kids. And I got the idea from my parents because they divorced and remarried, and I felt like co-parenting was the best part of divorce. And it would be awesome if they all didn't hate each other. Because they kind of hated each other. Which was a whole separate, I don't even want to get into that. But I've built this little utopia out of the seed of this idea from what was an otherwise highly dramatic scene, and have created this amazing space where I get to raise my children with all these resources and people and the ability to take excellent care of myself and the people around me. And I feel so lucky. I just feel so lucky every single day that this is what I get to do. And I've spent the last 3 weeks surrounded by sick people and so happy, so ridiculously happy to just be hanging out with my family, taking care of them when they're sick. It's mostly gross, if I'm honest. But it's also an incredible privilege to me. And I'll be honest, I fucking rock this shit. Not everybody does. Not everybody wants to. And there were people that weren't really happy about, like, I had a technical union position and I was 6 years in to my 30 years till retirement. And I had to walk away because my kids needed me and my family needed me. And I've never had a more rewarding job in my whole life. And I love it so much. And I can't wait to share it all. I can't wait to share it all. I am really excited. So that's what we're doing. If that sounds cool to you, hit that subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely day.